Hi guys, this is our third attempt to start our Q&A today. I'm not sure what's wrong, usually this works pretty well. We haven't had any technical issues so far, so it is quite surprising to me, but let's see. Maybe it is working now. Can someone maybe let me know if you can hear me? That would be really, really nice. I'm so sorry for the technical issues. Oh, we have sound now. This is great. Hello, good evening everyone. Thank you so much for your patience. Today's Q&A. Our guest for today, and I'm hoping that the sound stays. This is now, as said, the third attempt. Woohoo!
Hi.
Hello!
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Can you hear me
Sorry.
too?
Yeah, I'm walking around my house, sorry, looking for Wi-Fi. I thought the problem's on my side, but
I'm thinking it might be my problem.
or bad electronic energy. I warn you.
So, hi. Sorry, now it's hanging again. Damn. Now, hi. You were
Can you hear me okay?
briefly pixelated and buffering, but now I can hear you well.
Excellent.
Hi, good evening. Today it's all going to be about seal rescues, as we're chatting with you. We're talking to Naude Dreyer today, the co-founder of Ocean Conservation Namibia. This organization stands out for its mission to rescue marine life, particularly seals, from entanglements along the coast. And since 2013, they have saved 3,500 animals from facing a painful fate. So thank you, Naude, for joining us. My name is Ramona. I'm the host of today's Q&A with Healthy Seas, and I'm really, really excited to chat with you. And a note to our audience that this is a Q&A format, so we have collected questions, but please do feel free to share your questions in the comment section and we will include them in the Q&A. So if you have any questions, just drop them down below and we will answer them. And so our first question for you would be, as a co-founder of Ocean Conservation Namibia and an advocate for marine life, what initially drew you to the cause of protecting seals and conserving the ocean ecosystem?
Well, for me, can you hear me okay?
Yes.
So for me, I've grown up in and around the ocean. I've always been surfing, diving, fishing, kayaking. Where I've always been drawn to the ocean, and just seeing these animals, I felt like a bit of a custodian to the ocean. And seeing these animals, basically the guys I was sharing the water with all the time, in an unnecessary pain, just did not seem right, and felt it was my sort of payback, my responsibility to help these animals.
Thank you so much for sharing. As you've said on our podcast episode already, there's a huge entanglement going on with seals, especially along the coast of Namibia. And can you share some insights to that and other specific challenges that are faced by marine life in Namibia's coastal regions?
So the entanglement issue is not unique just only to Namibia. You'll have the same issues any country with a coastline in the world. It's just that we have the situation where we have so many seals here, and they are our means to bringing these entanglements to light. And if any other country had as many seals on the beach, you would see just as many entanglements. I purely believe this. Generally, our coastline looks quite clean. We've got no major rivers flowing to the ocean, and and a very small population. I mean, we've got 3 million people in the entire country, and very few of those people live on the coast. So all this rubbish is coming from the sea. So it just shows that not that much rubbish can cause a lot of damage. Also, it highlights that most of the rubbish you see on the beaches is actually a very small percentage of it. Most of the rubbish, about 90% of plastic that enters the ocean, actually sinks to the bottom. So what you're seeing in the Great Pacific Garbage Patch, and that is all just um, a tiny reflection of how bad the situation really is. And again, this is not just specific to Namibia. Um, Around here, the other challenges for the animals are obviously climate change is a huge issue. The warming of the oceans, cooling of the oceans, changing of currents. Every year we see more adverse seasons, and this means maybe warmer water coming in later, bringing the fish later. Everything is in a very fine balance, and big shoals of fish coming 1 month late can result in hundreds of thousands of seals dying. So everything has become on a very, very fine balance, which can be affected by weather change. And then also just general pollution. It's not just plastic. It's oil. It's anything. It's um, phosphates entering the sea, causing algae blooms. So yeah, we really face our situation here is not unique to anywhere else in the world, really.
Yeah, that's true. There's a lot of changes going on in the general ocean ecosystem and basically all around the globe, also in terrestrial regions with that, which then also influence the ocean. So yeah, as everything's changing, challenges can really become bigger and bigger over time. But do you know where those nets along the coastline of Namibia come from?
So it's quite interesting. We find a lot of nets, a lot of gill nets, for example. Last year we had about 60 seals entangled in gill nets, and gill nets are illegal in Namibia. There are no legally there are no gill nets being used here. So
Mm-hmm.
are these nets that are coming from other countries that are just drifting in the currents, or are these nets that or is this just an indication of a massive illegal fishery that actually nobody is aware of? So
Wow.
it's a it's quite it's quite a it's quite a difficult situation to figure out. Now, where's this rubbish coming from? But the truth at the end of the day is that any dumping at sea is completely illegal in any situation, any country. It's just there are laws in place for all of this, but any law is only as strong as its enforcement. And if these laws aren't enforced, then no one's going to adhere to them, and that is the big problem. Most places in the world, they don't have policemen on board these boats checking that nothing gets dumped overboard, and so people get away. And most of the time, it's just the sake of convenience, not having to carry this thing on board and dump it on land. It's just throw it off at sea. It's easier. Nobody's going to know about it.
Wow, that's like the indication that there might be a huge fishery that no one actually knows about, which is completely illegal. That's really big. And what would you say is the best way to advocate for the health of the ocean and ocean wildlife? And this is a question that's come in by one of our viewers, whose name is Christine.
Um, the best way to advocate for ocean health is is basically I think through education, honestly, to get people, get kids, get the youth involved, because it's the younger generation that's going to be stuck with all the rubbish that's
Mm-hmm.
been caused by our generation. So get people as educated as early as possible about the firstly the potential or what the challenges the ocean is facing right now, and what the consequences would be if those things aren't being addressed. That they can maybe institute stronger change than we're managing to do at the moment. Interesting filter.
Oh my God, where is
Um,
that coming from? Sorry. Thank you.
so yeah, I think yeah, and basically just the the thing of just people acting on within their own capacity. People need to um, clean up around themselves, go to the beach, pick up, take home more than you've than you arrived with, and if you see anything lying around, be mindful rubbish on the beaches, be mindful of how you use and consume and discard of plastic. What's happening to this afterwards? Is if you're just chucking in a big bin outside, it could blow into the ocean, could blow into the forest. Just to be more aware of what is actually happening with the plastic and rubbish you're using.
Thank you. Yes, so the individual person can actually take action themselves. And how do you, as Ocean Conservation Namibia, engage with local communities, governments, and other stakeholders to create greater support for the Ocean Conservation Initiative?
For us, so we with the videos and things we're sharing, we've got a very big global reach, and we were very lucky for that. So we on the local front, not that much at all. So we are spending more time going to visit schools, visiting local communities, and just basically highlighting the issues that a lot of people are not aware of there in the first place. Exhibiting, collaborating with other local welfare or animal welfare organizations and conservation organizations, just basically trying to get our message across. Just trying to highlight again the effects of pollution on marine life, and the harmful effects of the negative effects of pollution on marine life, and just trying to change things on a local level. It's very difficult though. Namibia is not a rich country. There are a lot of people living way below the breadline here, and for a lot of people, conservation is a bit of a luxury that's just not. You do not have time to think about rather using reusing a water bottle or something like that again, because when you're struggling to put food on the table for your whole family, it's an idealistic approach often, so it's easy for us to say, but when your priorities are really just about survival, it's a whole different thing. So it's quite a challenge trying to bring this into that situation, people living that sort of way, to understand the concerns here and what the potential long-term implications could be of an unhealthy ocean.
Yeah, absolutely. When it's about survival, it really does change the conversation. And one participant of the live Q&A, Marissa, is asking, do you have materials that we can use to educate kids in schools? Maybe Marissa is a teacher, maybe.
So we do. We've actually, I'm always happy to jump on to Zoom calls and things with classrooms. We've done quite a few all over the world actually. We're happy to give some videos, the non-graphic ones, and happy to climb in wherever we can. We always just ask teachers especially to reach out to us, and we can see how we can help out and do something a little. It also depends very much on age groups and things. So try and get something a little bit more specific for age groups.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, we don't have set things, but we do like to engage and address these kids wherever we do get the chance.
That's really, really great. So maybe Marissa can be in touch with you and
Absolutely.
drop you a message if she needs further information on how to educate her classroom. And as education is a big part, I imagine that science might be as well. So the question arises, are you collecting the data on ghost gear as well? Is any quantification being done during your seal rescues?
Yes. So you'll see us after every rescue. We've got a data logger, an app we use, and we've got a whole bunch of different fields: the sex, the age, animal, the location, type of material, the extent of the damage caused, whether the material is classified as industrial, domestic, or fishing, commercial. So we've got a lot of class. We keep all the materials that we actually, everything's being used now for a big art project. They're going to make a big art installation out of it.
Mm-hmm.
But we do feed this. There's been quite a few papers written using our databases. And everything's we often find in the science world, we're not scientists, so we're not getting involved in science world politics, but there's a lot of issues with data sharing often, but our policy is that everything is completely open source. Anybody who wants to can access all of our data, see if they want to use anything on plastic-related, animal-related studies, seal movements, anything. So yes, we're quite hard up on, or we're quite determined to collect as much data as we can through the work we're doing.
That's great, and also that you kind of have it open source for everyone who wants to access it. That's really, really valuable. A citizen science is always great to have, and
Yeah,
it's such an important
resource,
way of
definitely.
collecting data for scientists today, because you guys obviously know much more about the day-to-day things that happen on the beach and on the coastlines than a scientist might do when they're
Yeah,
from
we're
a
out
different
we're out there
country or
every day.
region.
People tell us to look out for specific things. We can gladly do that, log specific things they want, and so no, we do like working with scientists wherever we can.
Yeah, thank you so much for that. And now, obviously, the question has come up. Why is it important to protect Namibia's coastline and the seals that live there?
Well, it's the any coastline should be protected. It's not it's a very it's such a rich marine ecosystem here. We've got a huge marine offshore upwelling system here. So we've got
Mm-hmm.
so much life in the ocean here. Namibia is home, like, just think, we've got 1.4 million seals in Namibia. Imagine how much life there must be in the ocean to sustain those numbers. On top of that, all the whales, dolphins, large fish, birds, everything. So we've got a very, very rich marine ecosystem, and again, on a very fine balance. So it's imperative to make sure that this gets protected, as every coastline in the world should. But I do obviously feel a little stronger about my own coastline. So yeah, it is. And seals specifically, I mean, every animal has its place in the ecosystem. You do need, they are the large apex, they are the apex predators in the system. There's nothing really eating them, and um, they've got their space, they've got their role in controlling the middle predators, which are normally the ones eating the smaller ones. So if they are in control, if they're in, they've got a very important role in the food chain to make sure that everything stays in balance.
So, what are some misconceptions or even myths about seals in Namibia, and how does your organization work to address them?
The big thing is, the biggest misconception, I believe, is the fishing industry. Seals are quite hated by the fishing industry. There's a huge fishing industry in Namibia, and the seals are blamed for stealing all the fish, because the fishing industry is experiencing lower catches. But they're not addressing the fact that there's also a lot of illegal and unregulated fishing going on, increased quotas, more pressure on the fishing industry from the actual more pressure on the fishery from the fishing industry. And the seals, the fact that all the seals are still alive and well, is a testament that there is still a healthy system out there. It's just people don't realize, and that's a big thing, that the seals, that we do a lot of, part of the scientific work we do is a lot of scat collection. We collect seal poo, which really stinks. Bring it back, and gets analyzed for otoliths and little things inside it to check what the seals are eating. So less than 15% of the seal's diet is actually comprised of commercially targeted fish. So the seals are eating very little of the
Wow.
fisherman's fish, actually. And it's more, in my opinion, the fishermen eating the seal's fish. The seals were there first, and they are should be people being allowed to get some of their fish, not the other way around. So that is a bit of an uphill fight we do have here.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I guess that is the biggest misconception, and people believe that there's a sort of thing going around that seals eat up to half of their body weight in fish a day, which is really not even slightly physically possible. A big seal can eat up to 10% of its body weight in fish a day,
Wow.
but that is also a big breeding bull that'll be bulking up for the breeding season, and then he will go for nearly 2 or 3 months without eating anything. He'll just be mating all
Mm-hmm.
the time. So yeah,
So
that is
the
how.
fish would even get a natural um, fishing break from the
A
seals
little
because they
respite,
don't
yeah,
eat during breeding
from the
season. Is
big
that correct?
bulls, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So a follower is asking, I guess, because it sounds like there are a lot of seals. How many seals are normally congregating in one group?
So in the areas where we go to, we call it like the Pelican Point colony, our main spot we go
Mm-hmm.
to, would have around 60,000 seals. And then they would be
Wow.
split up into probably about 20 or 30 groups around the peninsula in an area of about 6 kilometers. So they're quite dense.
Mm-hmm.
Cape Cross, where we go every 2 weeks. It's about a 2 hour drive from here. One of the biggest fur seal colonies in the world, probably the biggest actually. And there you've got in breeding season up to about 200,000 seals in an area of about 3 or 4 kilometers. It's really intense. You've just got
Mm-hmm.
one massive, looks like a music festival.
Wow. It's hard to even imagine those numbers as
It's
someone
crazy,
who's
yeah.
never seen them. That sounds amazing. And a follower, now that we have mentioned breeding season, is wondering how the parental care of a seal look like. How does the parental care of a seal look like for their pup?
So it's quite interesting. The bull will go out to sea for up to about 8 months. He'll come back in September, October, and he'll start fighting with the other bulls, and he'll create a harem of up to 50 females for one big bull. And from about mid-November, he will start. The females will start having their pups mid-November to mid-December, and immediately, as soon as they have their pup, they will mate again, and they'll be pregnant 1 week later.
Wow.
Um,
Okay.
so once the pup is born, um, this pup will nurse for a whole year. The pup will drink from the mom for a whole year
Mm-hmm.
until the next pup comes. So the mother will spend the first 7 days or so nursing the pup, and then they will form these creche groups. You'll have a lot of pups together, a few moms watching them, not feeding each other's pups, just watching over them. And these mothers will go out to sea for 4 or 5 days and come back for a week or so, 4 or 5 days, and cycle
Mm-hmm.
like that while other moms are looking after their pups. So she will do that for most of the year. From about September, October, the pup will start joining the mom on hunting trips, hunting a little bit, but still drinking off the mom until the day the new pup arrives. The pregnant mom, so she was impregnated in, let's say, early December. The new fetus stays dormant
Mm-hmm.
for about 4 months. It's a delayed fertilization, and then develops for another 8 months. So it's a 1 year cycle. From about 3 or 4 years old, she's essentially pregnant for the rest of her life.
Wow. That's really impressive. And I guess it does take a village in this case,
Yeah, very much so.
for the
Yeah,
childcare.
they have to have a pup in the right time of year
Mm-hmm.
and in a colony. It's the only way the pup will survive.
Right. So I guess those colonies, especially with the really, really young pups, are particularly vulnerable to ghost gear and entanglements. And yeah, I'm just wondering, how does a rescue mission then take place, and which tools do you use to, yeah, move the seal groups? How do you disentangle them? Do you ever get bitten? All these technical questions. How does it go down? How do you
So
save the
we
seals?
so we will leave we'll leave anything between about 5:30 and 6:30 in the morning, way before the sun comes out, because we like to get to the
Mm-hmm.
beach at first light. Then we go from group to group of seals. We're spending most of our time just on the beach with binoculars, scanning the groups and looking for an entangled animal. Once we find one, we need to decide, okay, are we going to be running in for it? Are we going to crawl in slowly and get as close as we can? Sometimes the seal is really close to the water, and we'll go on a kayak and come in from the ocean side and try and block it off from the water side. So there's quite a lot of sort of decisions to be made on decisions
No,
to be made
I
on
don't
where
know what's
to
happening. I'm so sorry.
on where to on which approach to use. So then we need to okay. So we've if we catch one, something we'll always scan immediately. There's more, so often we'll go in with one big net each and a small net.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes we'll get up to 7 or 8 seals in one sort of run. Um, and then so once we go in there, we've got our Leatherman tools, the big scissors that we use. They work really, really well. And we've got our nets. The nets are a game changer. In the beginning, we were catching them all by hand, getting bitten a lot until Some scientists from the States sent us a net, and this thing worked really well. And we now have our own nets made. They built to our own specifications. And with that, we're catching seals up to the biggest one's about 240 kilograms by now.
Wow.
And that's how so we'll get in there. Our idea is to get in and out as quick as we can, reduce the stress of the animal, reduce the risk of getting bitten ourselves. And the getting bitten does happen from time to time. We try and play it safe. We do wear a lot of protective clothing, but everyone gets a little bite every once in a while.
Mm-hmm.
Seals' mouths are not very clean, so we've got a really comprehensive first aid kit. It's iodine flush, it's antibacterial cream, it's it's triple antibiotic cream, lots of gauzes and things just to that, and that's immediately. That's just till we can get to a doctor and get some proper meds in, because we've seen how quickly these things can get really nasty.
Yeah. I imagine, like, even a bite from a cat and a dog can be quite harmful, but then having a marine creature that's completely living in the nature and in the wild, I imagine that can be quite dangerous if you don't get it treated properly. So it's good to hear that you have a good field kit as well for first aid. And we have a follower saying the following: love your work. Do you have any favorite locations that you have visited and enjoyed helping sea life? Even looking at it globally, have you done it anywhere else?
We've done some work in Cape Town, which was a lot of fun. And we're very lucky in Namibia that we're allowed to do this work. Most other countries wouldn't just allow you to just run in and catch seals like this. And also not most of the countries don't have these massive congregation of seals like we do. So no, we've done some in Cape Town, which was a lot of fun. And then we've been lucky to get to some very remote colonies in Namibia. Namibia is a big country with very few people. So we're talking like 6-7 hours drive from the closest town. No cell phone reception, like proper in the wilderness out there. And so that's always an added element. If should something go wrong, you're really far away from help, and that just adds an element of adventure. It's always nice for us to we get very used to going to the same spots all the time, so it's just really exciting to see a new spot and get to experience what we're doing somewhere else for a change. We would love to. I would love to be able to get to some other places. There's some potential to maybe get to Argentina, Brazil, Peru. There's a couple of places that have with similar entanglements, and I'd love to get the chance to go and work with some people there, teach them our techniques and learn their techniques too. Yeah,
we have some viewers today who say that they're from Brazil and that they really admire your work. So I'm sure they would be excited to have you visiting as well.
Obrigado.
As we talked about the breeding colonies before and pups and parental care, would you say that younger or older seals are getting more entangled? What is your experience in this? Is there a difference between age groups and who is more threatened, basically?
So definitely the pups, and it's quite a simple reason. So about 60 to 70% of our entangled animals are first year pups. So in that first year, and the thing is, in this first year, they are really just puppies. They've got no responsibilities. They just get to play in the water all day. They need to drink off their moms, and they just need to learn how to be good seals in that time. So they spend all their time swimming in the sea, playing, learning to dive, learning social interaction, and they are really, really playful little animals. So they will go into the ocean and they will pick up every little bit of rubbish they find, play with it, swim through it, and this is how they get entangled. So up until about now, so about 4 months old, they're still small, they're still a bit scared, they stay close to shore, but now they start heading out. That's why January, February, March are really quiet months for us. We catch very, very few seals, and suddenly from now it will start picking up. We can see exactly from one day to the next when it starts getting busy, when the pups are heading out to sea again, or starting to go out to sea, and that's when we will start getting really busy.
Wow. That early on in life, can you already intervene with an entanglement?
Yeah, so look, as soon as they are able to swim, then we will start interacting,
Mhm.
because most of the seals will catch them, we'll cut them free, they'll swim into the water. As soon as we leave, they'll come back out. We just need to be sure that they can swim. So yes, we start catching them when we've had some pups, um, like 5 6 weeks old already, that are entangled, that we've caught, that
Wow.
can swim already. But that just shows you that how much plastic there must be, because those guys are not, they're just learning to swim themselves. They're not going more than 20 or 30 meters out into the water. So it could be that there's a whole bundle of rubbish just behind the waves right there.
Wow, that's really sad, and it's really great that you guys are out there helping them so they can actually reach adulthood. And we have one last question before the quiz question, where people can enter a giveaway. And the question is from a follower. Can you tell us about your education program and your documentary, End of the Line?
Okay, so the education program is something we're working on adapting all the time. We would love to have a full-on curriculum that we can offer to people, but at the moment it's still just more a matter of we've got a lot of visuals and things that we've made. We've got some interactive boards showing kids lots of the different entanglements, what they do, and then just speaking to the kids, and engaging them on the dangers. So we don't really have a formalized education program as such yet. The documentary Cutting the Line was shot by a South African crew. It is available online, on Vimeo. It's still on Vimeo on demand, so it has to be bought. Basically because it is still on a film festival circuit, so it's not allowed to be freely. It's not actually our video. It's about us, but it's not our video.
Mm-hmm.
But it is available. It's really cool. Or we think it's really cool. It was
I've
we
seen it.
worked on
It's
it for about
cool.
2 years. Yeah, good. And it's yeah, it really, I think, highlights quite well what we're doing, why we're doing it, and then how we go about doing what we're doing. So I do encourage people to watch it when they get a chance.
Absolutely, they should. And I said we have a last question. Let's make this one the last one. Um, and it's from a Dubai Volunteer Diving Group. And they are wondering what are the most types of marine litter that cause the entanglement, for example, fishing gear, plastic, ropes, or others, in your experience around Namibia?
So yeah, for us, it's normally about 70% of our entanglements can be linked to directly to the fishing industry, and that's normally fishing lines, commercial lines, nets, and then
Mm-hmm.
a big problem is also these white plastic box straps. But for us, they could have normal shipping applications, but for us, all the fishing boats, the bait boxes come in those, and the fish boxes are tied with those. So there's a lot of them floating around in the ocean, and we do take them as linked directly to the fishing industry. So for us, yeah, about 70% fishing industry. We actually do get a surprising amount of textiles as well, clothing.
Oh, wow.
So hats, pants, shirts, anything again with a hole in that the animal can swim through. And a lot of it is related then to shipping as well, not necessarily fishing, but you can see like PPE gear. Um, there was the high visibility stuff that is worn by people on ships, oil rigs, things like that, um, in the clothing side of things. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I guess that the local community sees your work and appreciates it, I assume, or is
I hope
there
so. Yes.
other
So it's
opinions?
quite cool. We no. So even though people have strong feelings about the seals, nobody
Mhm.
likes to see an animal in pain. Honestly, it's all. I like to think that nobody likes it. So people do appreciate specifically the
Yes.
work we're doing, and we get phoned a lot by fishermen on the beach that see these animals hurt. We get phoned by the fishing factories when there are animals nearby that are entangled. So no, I do believe that people do enjoy seeing these animals being helped locally. Yes.
Thank you so much. So we're now having the question for all the viewers, the audience who's currently with us, and it goes as follows. to win a Rush Guard from our partner, please answer the question, why do seals get entangled in the first place? Write it down below in the comment section. You have time to answer this question until the end of tomorrow, 9th of April. We will upload this video, so even if you're viewing it afterwards, you still have the chance to enter the giveaway and you can still comment. I would like to thank you so much for being our guest today. Do you have anything you would like to say and share with the audience before we go?
Well, I would like to say thank you for giving me the chance to talk. I'm a big fan of your podcasts, and I'm very glad I've been given this opportunity. Just say, yeah, everybody can. You might not be able to take all the litter from the sea, but you can control your own environment around you. Just pick up after yourself, know where your plastic is going, and if everybody does a little bit, if you always think, oh, what can I do on my own? I'm just one person. But if 7 billion people do a little bit, it becomes a hell of a lot. So just let's try and get that ball rolling.
Thank you so much. I've seen during the Q&A, I've seen many comments come in from all around the world, but as mentioned, many from Brazil, saying that they follow your work closely, that they really enjoy watching your posts come online, follow you on YouTube. So the work you're doing and just putting it out there really does have an impact. Thank you so much for joining us today, answering all the questions that we had previously prepared and that came in during the Q&A. It's much appreciated, and thank you for bearing with us, even though we had many technical issues in the beginning. This was really nice. It was so lovely to chat with you. Thank you so much. And yeah, have a great rest of your day.
Enjoy the eclipse, everybody that gets to see it in their path today. We won't, but maybe you are living in a place you can.
Oh yeah, go and enjoy if you have the chance to.
Cool.
Okay, guys.
Take care.
Have a good day.
Bye-bye.
Have a good time. Thank you for joining. Bye.